Part 2, collective. If it resonates, go back to part 1. You had kind of a rough go ahead with an ex. You definitely went through the ringer with them. It came up that you were kind of sitting in Queen of Pentacles energy. During that time period, you were working on your spiritual journey, your healing journey. You were trying to transmute everything that was kind of being thrown your way. They had a lot of third-party interference. They were chained to their addictions, but also kind of, again, they were chained to and addicted to third-party energies. Came out with the King of Wands and the Queen of Swords. This was something they didn't want to admit at the time. You sat on this. You were trying to figure out during the relationship what was going on. You may have checked phones. You may have tracked location. You did something because it finally illuminated to you what was actually going on. It was finally shown to you what your ex-partner was doing. And the reason it's coming up now, because it shows that you have nothing to do with this person. There's no communication. There's no whatever. It's because you were going back and forth, overthinking, trying to figure out what the truth was, because there was a lot of lies spread in the community about you during your relationship. During your relationship and definitely after. In fact, after it got 10 times worse. They were on a hate train, a smear campaign, because what they were actually trying to do is they were trying to make sure that nobody saw what was actually going on behind closed doors. This is why they cause massive confusion. You would have been very confused in this relationship. They were hot and cold very often. They would disappear at random times. They would claim that they had to do all these errands or stay late at work. All of a sudden, the way they were handling their phone changed, or you found out they had a second phone they were keeping in their car. This is heavy on, all they did was create false illusions and lies because they were trying to cover up multiple third parties. And that's now being shown. So your name is kind of being vindicated in a way, and it's kind of going on behind the scenes. However, it is showing that this King of Wands and Queen of Swords energy, definitely more on this Queen of Swords energy, is going, because they're pissed. They're pissed about this whole situation. Because nobody really won in this situation, other than maybe you, collective, because you wiggled your way out of it and moved forward. It shows that you're healing, you're doing good, you're moving forward. It did come up in part 1, too, that when we pulled the Cries of the Soul deck, this person had a lot of lack of self-love. They were humiliated a lot in their past relationships with their friends, and they mimicked it. They did the same to you that was done to them. Not that it makes it right, but they had a lot of traumas, a ton of unhealed shit. They haven't got help, and they I don't know that they will, to be honest, because this still shows that they may come towards you to counteract the rumors, to save face, to see what you know, that kind of thing. They are still actively thinking about this because it's still pulling in the reading. If they weren't thinking about it, if they weren't doing so much behind the scenes, you would not, collective, be receiving these type of downloads because you're not part of this anymore. So this is just the tea. And maybe it's extra confirmation for things that you weren't aware of. This person, your ex, they were spending their money on this person. They were even probably, if you were giving them money like to pay for part of the bills or something, or to contribute, they were probably spending it on this Queen of Swords, you know, whether it was with their addictions and partying, drugs, gifts, taking them out to, you know, lunch and dinner, stuff like that. Yeah. 9:17 on the timer. They were spending your resources. They were also spending their time with this person, right? They were making every excuse in the book that they were helping someone or they had to work late. Again, it's the whole game. This is what they do. It also came up in part 1 that they may be, or that they are potentially very confused about their own sexuality, which is kind of why they were sleeping around as much as they were. This is heavy third-party energy. They may have even had like a Grindr account. They may have been on several websites, hookup sites, quick fixes type thing in their local community. I had an ex on one of them. Literally, I found their, anyways. So, and it showed in part 1. You probably checked their phone. You probably checked this stuff, and it came up already. Yeah. They, again, multiple third parties. This Queen of Wands got in the mix and got heartbroken out of this as well, and it threw them for a loop. So, unfortunately, your ex was dirty D'ing a lot of people. But it wasn't just that. Some of these people were aware of you, collective. Some of them were not. They actively, the situation you were in with them, someone else was at the same time. So they hurt multiple people. Again, they were trying to fill a hole that they'll never fill unless they heal. And it's showing. They're not actively trying to heal either. They're still doing the same shit. So it never really changed after you left. Now, the thoughts may be different. They may feel... Hold on. Okay, so the thoughts may have been different. Like, they may actually feel a little bit of guilt and remorse and kind of feel somewhat bad about this now, but not enough to make a difference and change their behavior. It's judgment's reversed, and they're still not listening to spirit. They're still not walking the path. And it's right on top of the King of Wands. They are just getting by and still continuing to put this suffering onto others. And they're not, they're not caring about the feelings, the health, the well-being of anybody but themselves, to be honest. And Spirit sees that. And Spirit is like calling shit on it. Yep. So Spirit's laying down the law, and has been, actually. They've been actively bringing this to the forefront. They're like, Spirit's ripping this from these people. It's coming out left and right. And at first it's like little tiny whispers, and then boom, like the real stuff. This person did want to embarrass you. They did want to humble you. There is no love on this board. I want to be clear. And collective, I hate to say this because it hurts when people do this and we find out later. But again, you've walked away and you've been healing, so I think you can handle this. You're a strong cookie, collective. You're sitting in Queen of Pentacles energy. You're probably going to pull the Hierophant at some point. Again, this is your part 2. If this resonates, do not make it fit if it doesn't resonate. But if it does, go to part 1. Also, like and follow if you want to get more readings. I do readings typically every day. I also do private readings, so you can purchase them. They're relatively cheap. This month, they're like super cheap, $10. So, again, they are actively and aggressively being defensive and trying to counteract their own confusion that they've caused. All while you're sitting here trying to experience a new version of yourself, trying to move forward through hurt, heartbreak, loss, grief. And this person is not doing that. And it's going to come up. You're going to run into someone, or someone's going to call you, text you. You're going to see something on social media about all of the mess that they created. It's going to keep trickling out. You've probably already been approached. You've probably already got the screenshots. But there's more, because there was a lot of third-party energies. There's a lot of people that want to say some shit about this once they found out the truth. Because, again, they cause mass confusion everywhere to hide all of this shit that they were doing to you. But it wasn't just with you. It was with other people. They got other people involved and fucked up other people's life here. This could have been, they ruined, not ruined, they didn't do it. The person who is married did it. But they had gotten involved with a married couple, and this is now ruining someone's happy home. Obviously wasn't that happy unless this could have been, I said pineapples in part 1. This could have been polyamory, which polyamory is when you like to watch others, chair in the corner of the room type thing. But something tells me this was kind of what they did. This couple had an arrangement, and that's kind of what they did. So you're still moving forward, but this 9/11 on the timer. Stuff's going to come out. There may have even been a lot more than you anticipated, and you're still, I don't want to say indecisive. Again, you've moved past this. I'm not picking up that you're going to be indecisive either than when they come back towards you. I'm picking up that whatever it is that they say and any additional information that you didn't have before, it's still going to make you totally understand why you move forward, why you push forward, and why you're not going to continue to have anything to do with them going forward. I think that this was too bad. What they did was too bad. And you may want to go to a part 3. We've got the Ace of Cups up here.